Do you hate the sound of your own voice? Then you might love this week's business book review, The Power of Voice by Denise Woods. This is a book that provides a series of exercises you can do to break bad vocal habits and make sure that your voice reflects the intellect and the power that you deserve. Now, as a professional speaker for over 35 years, I'm still trying to read books that will help me to better my communication. And that was my motivation behind getting Woods' book. For me, I'd give it probably 2.5 head tilts out of 5 though, which is probably overly harsh. Like if I had a specific disdain for my voice, or I was bothered by my accent, or I just felt like my voice range could be better, I might have loved it. But I had a hard time connecting to this book for 2 reasons. Number one, I've kind of just come to accept the sound of my voice. And while I know that I can improve it, I don't see it as something that needs fixing. Number two, the book is filled with 80% of stories of her famous clients that she's worked with, and maybe about 20% actual vocal training advice. And I think I'm being generous with those ratios. It's a lot of story and name dropping. This book name drops famous people more than any other book that I've read, and it's hard to fault her for that, by the way, since the majority of her clientele are famous. But at some point, it just got exhausting picking up all the names that she kept dropping. And sometimes the stories didn't even have a strong point or conclusion, making me wonder why they were even told. Now, all that being said, if you're in startup mode, you want to capitalize on every advantage you can. So if you're a startup and you don't like the sound of your voice, or you feel like your voice doesn't command the respect that it deserves, or if you have an accent that you don't enjoy, I think this book could easily be a 5 out of 5 for you. And I say that with one condition. You listen to the audiobook and don't read it. Most of the books I've reviewed, I read. But sometimes I've listened to the audiobooks, and I rarely distinguish the variable inside these reviews because I don't think it matters. But this one, I feel I need to. I read it and I regretted it. I think I would have enjoyed it much more as an audiobook because all of the exercises that she provides to help expand your diaphragm or relax your jaw or move the location of your voice, it's really hard to interpret that in written prose. Although I think she does a better job of that than anybody else could probably do. She was very skilled in that, but I still think the audiobook would have helped. Reading a book on how to improve your voice is a bit like reading a book on how to get a haircut, right? I'm sure it can be done, but it sure would be better if you could just get some scissors in your hand and hairstyle to work on. With an audiobook, I think you could play along with the exercises versus trying to remember the instructions and then put the book down and then attempt the description. Here are some excerpts from the book that really spoke to me. When you misuse your voice so consistently that people start paying more attention to the quirk rather than to what you're saying, whether it's a high pitch, a chronic throat clearing, a vocal fry, vocal nasality, or a lisp, it needs to be addressed. Your vocal power can surpass language when you're truly invested in what you are saying. The power of the imagination is what gives voice intonation, inflection, and color. It's what moves your listener and helps them to truly understand the essence of you. You have the ability to convey something much more profound than mere words. You have the ability to convey your essence. Your voice, speech, and gestures are a reflection of who you are, where you come from, and where you'd like to go. And that power is limitless. I realize nowadays that entrepreneurs write books to demonstrate their expertise in hopes that somebody who read the book will want to hire them. Hell, all of the books that I've ever written, with the exception of just one, had that subtext built in. So I'm as guilty of this as the next author. But when the book provides very little solution and spends the majority of the time demonstrating the author's expertise, I feel it can leave me feeling like my time could have been spent better. I hate to say it, but I felt like that starting about halfway through the book. And it never really went away, which I think is a shame because I genuinely feel like this book had the potential to be so much more. And I do feel like if you're struggling with a certain aspect of your speech, it could really be useful. If you do read the book, please leave a comment here to tell us what parts of the book you liked, or for that matter, tell me that I'm way off base and that you loved the book. I'm cool with that too, right? I realize that what makes a book a 5 out of 5 isn't as much the content of the book, but more so whether the reader is the right person for the content in the book. And on that topic, I really think you'd love my business book scorecard. It's a free Q&A that takes just a few minutes, and at the end, you're going to get a custom curated list of the top 10 books for you based upon where you're at in your specific entrepreneurial journey. Why waste time reading books that don't apply to you? Like, I've already sorted through over 500 business books to share with you the top 10 books that apply directly to you. It's fast, it's free, and the link is inside the description of this video. Until the next time, let's both try a little harder to be a little better. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch that book review. If you liked it, I think you might like this one as well. Check it out.